Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Africa. And whichever part of the world you guys are joining us today, I am excited. I have waited for a couple of beautiful months to make to make this beautiful live possible and just to bring my amazing guest today. So before I go on, just to introduce her and to you and every one of you, I want you to do me a favor. I want you to share, like I said in the morning when I put up a post and sent to most of you in our space. I can see a lot of you guys are already joining in, but do me a favor. We need to take this conversation further. We need to have as many people as possible. Like I always say, now I think it's my tagline. Let's make wisdom sexy. So we need to make wisdom sexy. So I'm excited that you guys were ready. I think you guys were ready before I even ask you what I want to do. I can see you're joining in, but I want you to share, tag, and inviting your friends to just come in and be part of this conversation and just join in. So don't just be the only one that is out here. Make sure that you tag your friends, share in all your groups. Our mission, as you know, is making wisdom sexy. Kundizi, what's happening? Nasha, good to see you. Rose, good to see you. So please, before I introduce her, before we go straight into our conversation, I want you to just do the needful. I want to see you guys invite people to be part of our conversation today. So I'm not introducing her. I know I have a bit of some feedback. Can you guys hear me? Can you hear me clear? There's a bit of some noise in the background. Can you guys hear me clear? Hey, Precious, what's happening? Good to see you. I can see all of you guys coming in. Thank you. You guys are ready for this. Tagging all, and it's good to see all the men. The brothers joining in. But I guess you need to listen in to this conversation. I know we're doing all the stuff that we can, but please share and invite people. I'm just gonna do the need for and share, and then coming in. Hey, what's happening, guys? Good to see. Man, I've missed you. It's been a minute since I came live. So I'm happy to see a lot of you. Precious, what's happening? Rose, good to have you guys joining in and being part of this. But please, I want to see you tag and share in all the groups that you're in, so that we can have. Alan, what's happening? Good to have you guys. Thank you so much. Destiny, what's happening? Good to have you. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for tagging all your friends and everybody. You know, uh, Believe me, if this was a paid event, I would have said money back guarantee. If you sit here with us an hour and you don't get inspired and motivated, I'll refund you. But unfortunately, this is for the love of you guys. So so I am excited. So we're gonna have a lot of you guys share what's happening. Good to have all of you guys. I know this is the only chance I have to read your comments and just check them. Okay, glad it's clear. Okay, good. Okay. Uh Princess, what's happening? Good to have you. Yeah, good to have all of you guys. Are you sharing? Are you inviting? So I'm just gonna do my quick shares on my end to make sure that everybody is joining in and part of our conversation now. So we're gonna get started now. So I'm waiting to see you guys share and invite. Bright, what's happening? Good to see you. Khadija, what's happening? Yeah, good to see you guys. Betty, what's happening? Bright, it's awesome to see you. And please don't wait until we get to the end to ask your questions. So if you already have your questions, start throwing them here. And because if you wait until last minute, it's gonna be very difficult because we only take, and I know you guys always have a lot of questions. So this is your chance to throw them in advance. You know what time it is, and we're gonna get going. So you saw my post in the morning. I told you how long it's taken for me to bring this amazing woman to come and speak to us. I strongly believe until you change your mindset, you can't change your life. and the wisdom that she carries, the wisdom she carries, is amazing. He that has got ears, let them hear and transform their lives. If you listen to her wisdom today and in 2022, we don't see you do better, I don't know what else I can do for you. I've done my parts. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the US, allow me to introduce this amazing woman who's doing an excellent job impacting so many women out there, to Zambia, to Africa, and just come and speak to you. Her name is Sarah Lina. Sarah, good to have you, and welcome to Wakanda.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
awesome. Awesome. Tell us about yourself. We want to know you. Introduce yourself to your new family.
Okay, Peace Family. My name is Sarah Lena. I am a certified professional life coach. I specialize in femininity, dating, relationships. I help women mainly that have issues with confidence, that have issues with maintaining healthy relationships, not just relationships, but healthy relationships with masculine men, women that have issues with being able to attract masculine men, women
Yeah.
that have issues when it comes to just finding that peace. A lot of women just walk around stressed, overwhelmed, frustrated. A lot of women are lonely. They don't know how to get along with other women. I help women who
Mm.
have issues when it comes to communicating. Communication is a big one.
Yeah.
When you want to get something off your chest or you want to express how you feel, but you don't know how to say it, and it comes off as though you're just angry, and then you get labeled as like an angry black woman or something like that. So we want to try to stay away from that. So I help women to learn how to communicate in a feminine manner, practicing emotional intelligence, being able to self-soothe, being able to understand and identify their emotions. Um, so just anything along the rounds of femininity, dating, relationships, and marriage, and family structure as well. That is what I specialize in, and that is what I'm helping with women, despite what their age is, despite where they're from, their background, their spiritual beliefs. I help women um, all over the world with this. So this is something that I've been doing for a couple of years. It really began when I started with teaching children. I was a teacher, and I realized that I couldn't really change the trajectory of these children's lives until I was able to help them with whatever is going on at home. Because you can teach them as much as you want to at school, but their lives aren't going to change that much if when they go back home, they see the same thing. It's a lot of chaos, family structure is messed up, and so much of what affects us today has a lot to do with how we were raised, how we saw our parents interact, things like that. And none of that's going to change for the future of our children or anything like that unless we get things right in the home first. In order to get things right in the home, you need to understand that women are going to have to embrace a more feminine role and men embrace a more masculine role and balance each other out and complement each other in that way. That's what I do.
That's great. So, and what do you think? I know at the call of your message is femininity. How do you? Why is that key for women? And I know that's a future conversation we're gonna have. But why is that key? And why should women be concerned about that part of their lives? I know it's not our conversation, but because I heard you mention it, why is that key? For women to be able to work around that part of their lives.
Why is it key for women to be feminine?
Yes.
Okay. Well, when women operate from a more masculine energy, well, first of all, men and women, we're just designed differently. We are not created the same. The psychology
Mm.
is different. The anatomy is different. The way we understand things, the way we communicate is just different. And so, when a woman is operating from a more masculine energy, she does tend to overwork herself and feel like she's trying to prove herself. She ends up feeling underappreciated. She ends up feeling unloved, uncared for. She ends up feeling like she's not much of a priority because she's trying to prove that she can do what men can do. And she ends up putting herself in a position to where she is now treated like a man, where unfortunately a lot of men are only loved or cared based off of what they can do for someone. And that is what a lot of women end up doing to themselves. They find themselves in a situation where people are only reaching out to them for what they can do, what they can pay for, or anything like that. And a lot of these ladies are just not they don't know what it feels like to be loved. They don't know what it feels like to be treated like a lady. A lot of them operate from a very masculine energy where they end up not really being able to connect with men. They don't understand why people don't really like their energy, because too much masculine energy on a woman is very unattractive. It definitely can make them unapproachable. They don't seem as friendly. They're usually a lot more competitive, a lot more disagreeable, a lot more combative. They take a lot of things personally. They are on guard a lot, in defense mode a lot. And so it really does just drain them. And it's not just when it comes to relationships, but when you're not in your feminine, and you're more your masculine as a woman, it can cause you to have unexpected, unwanted facial hair. It can cause you to have issues with fertility. It can deepen your voice. You can lose a lot of sleep. You can have issues with your body, your pH balance. It's not just dealing with relationships. It has to do with the physical, the spiritual, mental, all aspects of life. When a woman is operating from her feminine, she just has much more love and abundance in her life. Whereas when she's in her masculine, she's much more stressed, she's much more frustrated, much more overwhelmed. So yeah, that's why.
Wow, that's beautiful. I have a lot of questions, but I'm not even gonna go there because that's a future conversation. So today we're gonna go straight. So so we're just gonna go straight to talk about our topic today. It's about unrealistic standards. That are keeping women single. And get it from me, sisters. I want to see you happy. I want to see you flow. But it's not safe out there in these streets, in these dating streets. Because there's a lot of unrealistic standards out there. So maybe just talk to us. What are those unrealistic standards that are keeping women single?
Oh gosh, there are so many. One that I feel is a major one is that a lot of women want their man to be masculine only sometimes. They expect him to be masculine in the sense that they want him to be a protector, they want him to be a provider, they want him to be a leader, and things like that. But they want him to be all soft and sweet, gentle with them. And unfortunately, that is not always the case. Yes, a man can give you emotional support, he can treat you. Much more gentle than he's going to treat another man. But realistically, a man that's operating more in his masculine isn't it's not easy for him to just turn it on and off. And a lot of women want their man to be masculine only when it comes to being a protector and provider, and to just turn it off all of a sudden and then just be soft with her. And the way this shows up is that, like, where he might be a protector, meaning he might have a set of rules as to what he might need in order to keep this woman safe. A lot of women are like, oh no, I don't want these rules because now he's controlling. It's like, no, that's just part of being a protector. you know, they might not like the fact that he might have a forceful voice when he's passionate about something or trying to get a point across. But it's like, well, that same aggressiveness that he has keeps you safe. If someone tries to come for you, or if someone tries to mess with your family, he's going to need that in order to protect you and things like that. So it's like they want him to be hard only when it relates to something else, but when it's with them, they want him to be all soft. And that is very unrealistic. And because a lot of women, if they feel like they're losing control in a sense when they allow a man to lead, and they don't want to do that. They want to be able to do everything on their own as though they're single and independent, but they still want him to pay for things and stuff. And that's just not realistic. So that is definitely one.
So what's the reason why women want to switch off, when it suits or pleases them in that space?
Because they want to be able to be the one that's in charge oftentimes. And usually the one that is the
Mm.
more masculine is the one that is going to be the one that's the head, the one that's the leader, the one that's giving the guidance, the one that has the rules. And this is where a lot of women get upset, because it's like you're going to have to learn how to. I don't know if you all like the word submissive here. They hate that word. But you're going to have to learn how to just be cooperative and follow his lead and respect and trust his guidance as a protector, as a leader, as a provider. And a lot of women don't want to do that. They want to be the ones that's in control of everything. They also don't like to be corrected. A lot of ladies don't like to hold themselves accountable for anything, and a masculine man is absolutely
They
going to
call
hold
it
you
bashing.
accountable. Absolutely. He's going to hold you accountable. He's going to expect you to apologize when you're wrong. And a lot of ladies don't want to do that. And a masculine man is that's how he is. He's not a yes man. He's not going to kiss your behind.
Yeah.
He's not going to let you just get away with anything. And a lot of women are not okay with that. They would prefer a man that doesn't hold them accountable. They would prefer a man that isn't going to tell them no, that's going to let them do whatever they want. And that's just not realistic when it comes to having a masculine
Wow. So they want him to be the provider. They want him to do all these beautiful things for them
man.
until it's time to become that woman that is cooperative and be able to follow through with what the man is bringing to the table.
Absolutely, yes. And that is another unrealistic expectation is that a lot of women have the standards that they can't really balance out. They aren't able really to complement a man. And so they'll have all these lists of standards and like, I want a man that can do this, 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 this. And it's like, okay, well, what type of woman does this man would he want? Like, do you meet his
Wow,
standards?
that's very powerful.
No.
That's very powerful.
So that is going to be another one that is like a huge unrealistic expectation is that they feel like they can have a man that meets all of their standards, but they don't have to meet the standards of that man. And that is
Come
not
on, come
that's
on,
not
where are the
realistic.
brothers?
Yeah, and that's something that you have to ask ladies if you have a man that is a provider, what does that look like? What is he going to be doing? He's probably going to be working a lot of times. If he's more traditional, he's probably going to want you to be more traditional. So are you a traditional woman? Are you able to be a homemaker, a caregiver, or are you more of a outside like to party and hang out all the time type of woman? Like you have to really just pick and choose. You can't have a man that's going to be more traditional and think that you're not going to be able to not be a traditional woman. You're going to have to balance him out because that's what people don't want. If he is a man that is, fit and takes care of his health, he's going to want a woman that's taking care of her health. If he's a man that is a protector, he's going to want a woman that is going to listen, that's going to be cooperative. If he's a man that is intellectual, he likes to learn, he likes to teach, he's going to want a woman that knows how to listen, that is teachable, that is capable of being a student. All of these things come with it. And so a lot of women, they just don't really consider that when it comes to the standards that they create for the type of man they want. They don't think, well, am I going to meet his standards? You know?
Wow. Are the women awake now? This is very interesting because I think some of the points that you brought across are very key, and I feel like these are very tough conversations, and we must be able to have them because if we're gonna preserve our own, relationships among Black people, Black couples, Black love, I feel like these are critical things that all of us need to be able to pay attention to, you know. And I guess as uncomfortable as it may be, and maybe some of you are listening to these things for the very first time, you have the opportunity to be able to go back and re-listen because I feel it's going to help you be able to move on and do some of these things. Because I think one of the key things that you said was about how they want the man to be all these things, but they are not willing to do certain things. Why is it that women are asking for all these things from a man? Uh, by the way, there's a conversation. I don't know whether you've heard it. On the other side, I see people asking and says, "Why are women offended when a man asks, 'What do you bring to the table?'" A lot of women like take offense. Is that an offensive question?
It depends on the intentions behind the question.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be offensive. I don't find it offensive myself because I know what I bring to the table. But I mean, it can be. I think sometimes when men ask it, they are doing it just to be facetious. I don't think some men act with a good intention. But another reason why I feel like a lot of women do get offended by that is because they're just not really sure what it is men are seeking. And so a lot of women have been lied to for so long about what it means to be a woman of value. And so they'll list out all of these things, like I have all these credentials and I have all these possessions and I make this much money. And they'll go into all of these masculine qualities. And they've been told that this is what's going to make you a good wife. This is what's going to make you a good woman. You know, this is what men are going to look for. This is what's going to bring you happiness. And what ends up happening is these women, they accomplish all of these goals, but then they're still unhappy because their desires are not being met. They still are not what it is they want to be. They still don't have what it is they truly want. And what it is they want oftentimes is a family, or they want to be loved by a masculine man. And the masculine man is saying, you bring the exact same thing that I bring to the table. I want something that's going to balance out. Because it's like, if you bring food and I bring food, we're both going to be sitting here thirsty. You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm going to need you to bring something that I don't bring. And when it comes to the feminine, it has more to do with the inner qualities. And that is like when you're able to bring that peace, that positivity, when you're able to bring that supportive nature, that nurturing, that affectionate, that compassion, when you're able to bring that sense of respect. Because a lot of men just from on a day-to-day basis, just oftentimes they don't feel respected by the world. A lot of times people see them as threatening. A lot of times they feel like they have to be very competitive out there. And so when they get home, they want something different. They want a more peaceful energy. They want that softness. They want somebody that's going to encourage them and uplift them, and not somebody that's going to be combative with them, you know? And so a lot of women, because unfortunately they were not raised with that, they might have never seen that themselves. They don't feel like they have these inner qualities. And so that's why it's offensive when someone asks them, because they can't say, I have this. I can do these things that you can't do for yourself, you know? And I think that's why a lot of women do get offended by it, is because they don't really know how to respond to it without being told that that's not good enough, pretty much. Because that is what happens. They will list some things, and a man will be like, okay, I can do that on my own. And then they're upset because they don't know what to say. And it's usually the feminine traits that they're missing.
Come on, ladies. This is some wisdom. This is some beautiful wisdom, everybody. So I mean, so that was the first one. I know we've covered so many things in the first one. So please, what was your key takeaway, ladies and gentlemen? So men can join in. Please type it out. What did you pick from the first unrealistic standard that a lot of women make most women single? So feel free to type it out there. I want to make sure that you guys are following and we're just not, oh, wow, that's my habit, because I show up to learn for myself. Sometimes I forget my people out here because I'm out
Okay.
here enjoying and having fun. So I want to make sure I don't forget you guys out there. What did you pick? What's your lesson, quickly, as we move on to the other ones that you have?
Okay. Do you
Yeah.
want me to go ahead now, or are we
Yeah,
waiting for
go
the
ahead.
time?
Go ahead, and then we can interrupt.
Okay. So
Yeah.
another one is going to be the amount of time that a man has for a woman. If he is going to be a productive man. A lot of women want a man that's productive and goal oriented and that has things going for himself. He's a businessman, he's working, he's a provider, he's paying the bills. And then they get upset when they don't have time with him, when they can't be around him 24/7. Like, oh, I'm lonely, I don't have anybody to talk to, and things like that. And it's like, well, the alternative is a man that can sit up under you all day long, but you're doing all the work. You know what I mean? You're the one, and then it turns into a case where you're more like his mother than you are like his spouse or his wife. And so that is an unrealistic standard that a lot of women have, is they expect a man that is very productive, and I don't, not just busy, but he's actually getting things done. He's making things happen. He's going after his dreams. You know, they expect for this man to have an abundance of time for them, and that is just unrealistic. It's just not how it works. You know, so a lot of women, they do get upset by this, because a lot of times they don't have a social life of their own. Sometimes they aren't able to really connect or bond with other women, and sometimes it is due to a lack of femininity. And so they will kind of like seek that time with their man, but he can't give it to them all the time because he has things to do. So that is another unrealistic expectation.
So how then should a woman operate when they're in that space where they have this man that is productive and going out after his dreams? How does that work out? How does a woman balance that? How does
There,
that?
there's
Yeah, yeah.
so many things she can do. She can a step up beside him and be his helpmate, and support him and assist him and ask him like, "What do you need from me? How can I help you?" So that will give you more time with him by default because now you're working with him. You're doing things with him. It's not just him going his own way and you're just sitting at home waiting. You're actually going to be working with him. Or B, she can get productive herself. She can find her own passion. She can find a way to be productive and do something as well, as long as it's not taking away from her role as the helpmate and as the homemaker and caregiver and things like that. Or she can definitely just do things around the house to make the house a better home. Because if you're really taking care of your home, then that's going to take time, period. You know what I mean? Because you're going to have to make sure you're preparing meals, you're cleaning things, things are decorated however you like it. You know, so being a good homemaker takes time. It's not like you're just laying
Mm,
around. A lot of people think that being a housewife means you just kind of lay around doing nothing. That's
yeah.
unrealistic. You got things to do. So making sure you're taking care of your home, or again, like just having a social life where you're able to connect with other women,
Yeah.
especially women that understand what it's like to have that type of man in your life. Unfortunately, not every woman knows what that's like because there are some women that intentionally get with men that don't really have much going on because it makes them feel more powerful, makes them feel more in control when they have a man that they can kind of boss around. But yeah, so they can try to definitely improve their social life. So they can help him, they can get something done on their own, they can do work around the house, they can improve their social life. There are a multitude of options that they have. They don't have to just sit there lonely. But that's what some of them do.
Awesome. That's great. That's So thank you so much, guys, for the feedback. Keep on sending it out, and then we'll put it out there. And if you have any questions, feel free because we've hit we've done 30 minutes. How many? I know we'll not be able to give out everything, so maybe we allow you just to flow and then put it across, and then people can put the questions and then ask them as we go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want me so you want me to just start answering questions now or keep going with the unrealistic
No, you can
expectation?
keep going. You can keep going.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So another unrealistic expectation that a lot of women don't like this one is that they expect that their man will suddenly stop being attracted to other women once he's in a relationship with them. That's not how it works. That doesn't mean that he has to sleep with other women. That doesn't mean that he's going to be unfaithful. But his eyes still work. You know, his body still works. So he's likely still going to be attracted to other women. That doesn't take anything away from you because unlike like men, most men, they don't just have just one type usually. They can have a woman that is one size and find her attractive and see a woman that's a different size and find her attractive too. So a lot of women think, okay, well, if he's attracted to that and I don't look like that, then he must not find me attractive, and that's not usually the case. But a lot of women need to realize that he's not going to just stop suddenly looking at women. That's a lot of men, they might not admit it, but it's just the truth. They're still going to be attracted to other women. They're still going to see other women and things like that. A lot of women just need to work on their insecurities, making sure that they are feeling more confident, making sure that they are securing their position so that they are not sitting around making the time they have spent with their man about other women, because that can become an issue when the quality time you have with him you're discussing other women. Now he's thinking about other women. You don't want to do that. You want to make it about the two of you. So that is definitely one. And not only that, but a lot of times women have an unrealistic expectation that men are just not supposed to work with other women, or they're supposed to suddenly just be rude to other women now that they're in a relationship. Some women just want their men to just treat other women like crap, just simply
Like they
because.
don't exist. Like they don't
Yeah,
exist. They're not in the
and that's
picture.
just,
Yeah.
if he's a respectable man, he's a good man, he's going to have certain morals and principles put into place where he's just going to treat people with respect, period, regardless of who they are. That doesn't mean he's trying to get in her pants or anything like that, but a lot of women, they just expect for that to happen, and that's definitely unrealistic, you know. So that's one. Another one is that this whole like high value men type of thing. A lot of women are expecting men to earn a certain amount of money. And
That's a big problem.
that, that is a big problem. And it's just not realistic, you know. Um, when women are able to understand that a lot of what we see on social media or what we see on mainstream media, a lot of times that is not a good reflection of what is happening in real life, you know. And a
Mm.
lot of times when we get on social media and we see these couples and they have all of these extravagant vacations and these big fancy cars, these huge homes, and it just looks like they're living the life, and it's like, oh, I want to do that. I want my man to do that. A lot of times they don't realize that's fake. A lot of the time, a lot of
Mm.
times this is something that like they rented that car, or they that's not even their home. It's, you know, and so like they put all this pressure on this man, where really they need to focus more on just the necessities, just the basic necessities. Um, a man being provider does not mean that he takes you out on a shopping spree all the time. A man being a provider doesn't mean that he takes you out on a bunch of vacations all the time. I mean, it's nice, you know, when you can do these things every once in a while, but being a provider is more about the basic necessities, you know, the food, shelter, clothing, things like that. And a lot of women, they're not content if their man isn't able to have like a whole bunch of extra money for frivolous spending, you know, things that are just completely unnecessary. And a lot of women end up being very materialistic, and having those materialistic standards keeps a lot of women single because they're just unable to see a good provider, you know a good provider when they see one, because they're so busy comparing their men to what they see on social media or what they hear people talking about, and that's not real life. It's not realistic. So that's definitely a huge one that keeps a lot of women single. You know, and another thing, a lot of these women, they want a man to be able to pay for things that they couldn't pay for themselves when they were single. No other man before him paid for it. They just expect
Wow.
they just they just all of a sudden expect, like, your father couldn't even buy you that, but you all of a sudden get with this man and you expect him to spend all this extra money on. So that is definitely an unrealistic expectation that a lot of women have.
Do you think that's one of the biggest problem with this, unrealistic expectations or standards that women have that is keeping a lot of women single? Because the way you explained it, it's very powerful because I know most women don't want to hear this truth. And do you think it's one of what do you think it's a bigger so far with what you've shared? I kind of feel like for me this really is very big for most women.
You think this one is the biggest? Well, I think it's up in the top two or three. It's
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it's in the top two or three. I definitely feel like a woman expecting a man to be something that she can't bring balance to is probably number one, is where they have all these standards listed for him and she doesn't fit his standards. I think that's probably number one. But yeah, this is definitely in the top, because there are a lot of women, especially if she's used to making her own money. She would think, okay, well, I can buy this, and so you should be able to buy this if I can buy this. And it's like, well, no, not necessarily. And so that is definitely one of them, is that expectation. I think a lot of women just need to just get off social media every once in a while, to take a break, just so that you can just see what it's like in the real world. And in the real
Mm.
world, a lot of people are struggling. A lot of people don't have time to be spending money on things that aren't going to matter next year, next month even. Um, and it's really just to show off with, for the most part. A lot of times they just want these things just so they can take pictures and say, "Oh, this is what I got," or "Look what my man bought me," and none of it has any real meaning. A lot of women do want to just use their men as ATMs, and that is not, you know, most masculine men can sniff that out a mile away. They know when a woman is just trying to use them for money, and that is definitely going to keep a lot of women single, because there are men that can afford that. They absolutely can. But if a woman is treating him like all he is money, they're going to end up
Mm.
missing out on that man, because he's not going to want a woman that's coming across as like a gold digger or something like that.
Wow. That's tough. That's really tough. I have so many questions on that one, but I'll let it slide for now, and we can move on. Maybe we could cover maybe two more, and then we take in questions because I think we've already done close to about 40 minutes or so. 36 minutes. So maybe you could cover two, and then we can take questions. So guys, do me a favor. I want you to type out your lessons or questions. If you have any question that you want us to answer on the unrealistic standards that keep women single, so please just type it out there. If you have any question, let's deal with the question. Don't come and send me a DM. I'm bad at that. I can't respond to all the DMs that I get. So this is your only chance that you have to be able to ask the questions that you have, or just share your lessons that you are picking out from this conversation, because we want to get your feedback. And then don't be shy. Just put them across, and then we'll be able to deal with them. So she's gonna cover two, and then we're gonna take on your questions, and get to move on.
Okay. So another
Yeah.
unrealistic expectation that a lot of women have is that they expect for a masculine man to think that they expect for a masculine man, which is in his nature to be a protector. They expect him to allow her to just dress however, hang out with whoever, go wherever, post any type of picture, and that's just unrealistic. They expect him to be okay with her having a whole bunch of male friends, and men know how men think, and men know that a lot of times, not all of them, but a lot of times, if the man is hanging around, sometimes it's because he might have some ulterior motive there. And so a lot of these women, they think, okay, I'm going to be with this masculine man, and he's going to be okay with me dressing like this and posting this picture and getting all this male attention. It's like, no, that's not realistic, because a masculine man is not going to be okay with it. He expects his woman to be a reflection of him. You represent not just him, but you represent him as well when you step out into the world. So you're going to have to be much more classy. You're going to have much more integrity and dignity and self respect with the way you carry yourself, with the way you're behaving out in public. You can't be out here just doing any old type of thing, behaving badly, making a bad name for yourself, because people are going to look at you and say, okay, this man is not a man worthy of respect, or this is not a good protector. This man is not a good leader. He's not doing what he's supposed to do at home, because if he was, she would not be out here acting like this. You can't hang around a bunch of girls or women that, they just don't really have much going on for themselves. They are out here seeking a lot of male attention, because people are going to assume that if you're hanging with them, you think the same way they do. So it is unrealistic to think that you can still behave like a single woman if you're in a relationship with a masculine man. You can't do that. Like, you really are going to have to switch things up. And a lot of women, they still want that sense of, I guess it would be like freedom in their mind. It's like, I'm free and I can do what I want. No one controls me. That's how they think. And having that type of mentality does keep a lot of women single, because no masculine man is going to want a woman that is out here just embarrassing him, pretty much. So that's another one. The
That's
male
really,
friends is a huge one.
that's
Though. A lot of women have issues with thinking that they can keep a lot of their male friends around. You're going to have to cut a lot of those off once you are married to or in a committed relationship with a masculine man. That's just not realistic. He's not going to allow that, and that doesn't mean he's insecure. It means he's territorial and he's doing his job as a man, as a protector.
wow. Wow, that's really tough, because I hear a lot of women say, "Oh, you can't control how I dress. You can't control, who I hang out with. This is my life. I can choose to do whatever I want to do. Because I think that's what brings a lot of challenges with most relationships. Because most of the times women feel like when a man is trying to, because there are just certain times I put out comments out there. I'm at the mall, I see a man, and he's with his woman, and she's dressed in the most unbelievable way, and you're wondering what happened, how you're in a relationship, or you're a married woman, but you're out there exposing yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because when you and I come together, we're a brand. So you represent the brand that I have as a man. So you can't just be, out there in those streets and dress the way you want to dress. Relate with men how you want to relate. But today it's like there's this thing of, I know my rights. I can do whatever I want to do. What would you say about that?
Well, the question is, you said, oh, women might think I can dress the way I want to dress. The question be, why would a woman want to dress that way? Why do you want to show your body in that way? Why do you feel like that makes you empowered in order to do that? Because then a lot of women will complain about being over sexualized. They'll complain about men not respecting them. They'll complain, that men only want them for their body. But then they put themselves in a position to where they're displaying that that's all that they're worth. They're displaying that this is my value, my body, this is what I have. And then when that's all a man wants from them, when no man really wants to commit to them, when no man wants to marry them, they wonder why. That's one of the reasons why. Because you don't represent yourself as a wife. You don't represent yourself as a good woman. You represent yourself as a woman that is just seeking a lot of male validation, you know? And so they're just going to have to understand that's going to keep you single. If you care more about attention than you care about protection and commitment and security, then what you're going to
Wow.
get is attention, and you're not going to get commitment, protection, and security. So they just got to figure out what it is that they really want, and they got to ask themselves and be honest with themselves. Why is it such a big deal for me to show my body? Why do I want to do this so badly? What does this mean? You know? And so I think once someone asks themselves that question and they find what that is, and it will help them. But a lot of times it's because they just want to look like the woman they see on mainstream media. And when you look at the lifestyles, a lot of these women, that's one thing about social media, a lot of them are more open and transparent about what their life is like behind closed doors. And a lot of these women that are famous, that do show their body, you can see their constantly getting divorces, breaking up.
Yeah.
They can't keep a strong relationship. They can't keep their family together. You can see that, a lot of times they are very depressed. They have mental illness and things like that. And it's like, why would you want to mimic these women? Clearly, they're not
Mm,
happy, And a lot of times
yeah.
they don't realize that is these women's brand. These women being butt naked, that is their brand. Like a lot of them, they don't, if they wouldn't be relevant if they didn't show their body. And
Ooh,
it's
that is
like
hard.
as a woman, you have so much more to offer. You're so much more intelligent. You're so much more talented. And you could lead with that, but you choose to lead with your body. And then as a result, you end up wondering why you're single and why no real mature masculine man wants you. So,
Wow. So, I mean, when you spoke about when you spoke about seeking, like trying to get attention, is it something that is subconscious, or some women are aware of that, or maybe there's something in their upbringing that tend them to be that, and they don't even acknowledge that they're destroying themselves by how they dress and how they show up in public? Is it something that is subconscious, or some women intentionally just do it?
it's both. It is subconscious for some women based off of things that they might have experienced when they were younger, based off of what got them attention when they were younger. Some women, especially if they felt unattractive when they were young, if they were bullied, if people made them feel like they weren't attractive. Now that they're older and they might have grown into their body, now they might feel like, okay, well, now I can finally get the attention that I didn't get because, they're still battling the insecurities that they've had. There are some women that they might have been, touched as a little girl or may have got attention from grown men when they were very, very young. And as a result, it made them feel like, okay, well, this is how you get male attention. So this is what I'm going to keep doing. And then there are some women, again, like they just want to mimic what they see other women doing. So that's what a lot of it comes from. But no woman that has class, dignity, and self respect, and that understands her value as a wife is going to walk around butt naked, or half naked and think that she's going to get a man that is going to be a protector because a man can't protect you if you're walking around like that. He
Mm,
can't. If you're going out with your friends dressed like that, what is he supposed to do? Because he knows that's going to make you an easy target for other men. That is going to make people want to say disrespectful things to you. He can't protect you when you do that. You're doing that to yourself. You're asking for that. So definitely, that is an unrealistic expectation. That women feel like they can still dress and behave and hang around women like they're single, but think they're going to be in a committed relationship with a masculine man. It doesn't work. You're going to get a soft guy. You'll get a yes man, but you're not going to get a real man.
Wow, you're gonna be a yes man, but you're gonna get a real man.
You're not gonna get a
Ladies, did you hear that? That's really that's really powerful. You're just gonna get a yes man, you're not gonna get a real man, a man that wants to really represent, and lead, So I mean, so I think this is really powerful, So I think Nasha is the only one listening. I can see she's throwing out all those beautiful comments and feedback. Keep on listening. And one of the things that Sarah, I say to a lot of times, I think women don't understand this part. For me, I think sitting with the boys, sitting with men, I've always said that don't overexpose yourself or over advertise yourself as a woman beyond your level of character and resistance, because I see a lot of young women out there in these social media streets exposing themselves or just trying to be very sensual. And when a man sees that, he looks at you as a target. The wrong men see that, they look at you as a target, they want to come after you, and a man will do anything to satisfy or quench his sexual desires.
Right.
So, and then this is where a lot of women turn around on social media and begin to say, "Oh, these men just want to use you women. All these men just want to come after women and just take advantage of them." But you are the one that was putting yourself out there like, "Pray, I'm available." But you don't even have the character. You don't even have the strength to be able to resist. You don't even have the depth and intelligence to be able to know when a man is coming after you for your body, or he genuinely cares for you. So they dress and put themselves out there like that and still act like victims.
Right.
you
Absolutely.
know
A lot of women
you know
do that. They like to play that victimization game and like the blame game and things like that. And it really is. And I do believe that a lot of women kind of like the idea of getting that male attention and then being able to say, I don't want you or leave me alone because it makes them feel empowered. If men did not give women any attention, just put it like that. If women dressed like that all the time, and men did not say anything, men didn't like their pictures, men didn't tell them they were beautiful, those women would be devastated. They wouldn't feel desirable. They wouldn't feel attractive. They would feel like men don't want me. So they want the attention. They want the validation. They want men to say things to them. And they want to be able to say, oh, you men are disgusting, or you men just are you, because then it makes them feel like in a position of power when they can say that. So that is, it's like that's a lot of mind games that's in there, and a lot of times that is subconscious. I don't know if some women realize that's what it is, but hopefully they can get it together because it really isn't going to help them, especially if they have children. They got to understand their daughters are watching, their sons are watching. Um, their sons are going to think that it's okay to be with women that behave that way. Their daughters are going to think it's okay for them to dress that way. And, it's just really not appropriate for a woman that has any type of feminine class to her to misrepresent herself in that way. You're only going to attract the type of men you don't want.
Awesome. That's beautiful. So we're gonna talk about the last one now. But before we go to the last one, I love this message that somebody put up here, and I'm glad it's coming from a woman. And it says, and they comment dogs forgetting that you're attracting the wrong type of men.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
They definitely, you attract the wrong type of men when you do that. And then they complain about the men that they attract. Well, you're going to have to switch some things up if you want to attract a different type of man. Yeah,
Why? So you have to switch some things up for you to be able to attract a different type of man.
absolutely. You have to change your mentality. You have to change. If whatever you're doing is not working for you, then that means you need to stop doing what you're doing. you know, and if you find that you're constantly complaining about the type of men you're attracting, then there's a reason why you're attracting. You attract people based off of the level that you're on. You attract people based off of what you do, how you do it. And so if you don't like what you're getting, then you need to do something different. If you don't like what you're receiving, then you gotta look at what it is you're putting out. So
This is powerful. Wow, that's really really amazing. That's really amazing because I see a lot of women feel like they are single today and there are no men that are coming after them, but they keep doing the wrong stuff and still hoping a man will be attracted to the sorry to use this term, the dilapidated version of themselves. I
Right.
mean,
Right.
wow.
They want a man that's going to be respectable, a man that is going to, protect them, a man that's going to love them, that's going to treat them well. And it's like a man is not going to, you set the example for everyone else about how you want to be treated. How you treat yourself, that is you telling the world, this is how I want you to treat me. So if you treat yourself like you're a sexual object, you're going to be treated like a sexual object. If you treat yourself like you just want a bunch of attention, like I said before, you're going to get a bunch of attention. So you have to think about how you're treating yourself. How are you representing yourself? How are you, behaving? How are you speaking? How are you dressing? All of that matters. All of that communicates to someone what it is you want from them, you know. And unfortunately, a lot of women are getting advice from other women who also don't have it, right? And so, and then they all get upset together and then they get together and complain about men together. And it's like, well, together, all of you got it wrong. So maybe together you can all change some of what you're doing, because it can't be all men. It's impossible. It's not all men aren't like that. You don't know all men. You just don't understand men. And I think that's another thing. A lot of ladies don't even take the time to really try to hear what men are saying so they can understand, okay, this is what's keeping me single. So
Whew, this is so good. and, and and the reason why I'm excited, I think, I mean, from the time that we've been speaking and having conversations, it's because I am very passionate to see a lot of these things change, in this part of the world, and I kind of feel like even just the way we grew up from this part of the world as Africans, and a lot of our African women, and I'm not ashamed to admit, and the reason why I brought somebody like you, I'm not afraid to admit that what you have is not taught most this part of Africa, and that's why for me, I went all the way. And remember, I said to you that, hey, whatever it's gonna take, we need to bring this message across, because a lot of you women would agree that what Sarah is teaching today, a lot of you, your mothers didn't teach you this. A lot of your girlfriends can teach you at this level. So I'm not ashamed to say I don't know something, and I will seek for people that know stuff that I don't know, that doesn't exist in my culture, and bring those people forward. Because for me, that's what is really key. I'm sick and tired of trying to keep traditions that don't work, because a lot of women are hanging out with women that have got nothing. They can't keep relationships, they can't keep marriages, they can't keep families. They are frustrated. I see a lot of these things, and I said, what can I do to be able to change this narrative? And just some of the wisdom that you're bringing. So it's a bunch of women hanging out together with women that are clueless, women that are miserable, and they'll show up like it's happening, but when they go back in their private space, they can't sleep.
yeah,
They can't sleep. They drink, their
yeah,
brains off, because, and they'll show up like they're superwoman when they're with you. So you are
yeah,
getting wisdom from a woman who's frustrated with her life.
yeah,
So ladies, you gotta appreciate what we're doing right now. This is not for me, this is not for her, it's for you. What will you do with this wisdom? How are you gonna apply it in your life to be able to change for the better? How are you gonna change your mindset, so that you can work around? It's up to you. Choose to be offended or choose to be helped.
absolutely.
I mean, I tell people I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to do what I'm supposed to do. I'll speak truth to my generation. So when I lie down in my grave in my old age, I will have said I did my part, because a lot of women love people that pander to them.
Right,
A lot of women love, people that, the Derek Jackson of this world, they just give you all these, sell you dreams, when they are having multiple affairs with other people out there, and they come and tell you the sweet nothings, and women buy the sweet nothings when
right.
you can listen to someone who will challenge you and stretch you to become a better woman. So it's practically your decision to be able to make. I know time is running out, but this was so exciting. One, can we take one last one and then just share a few comments that we have on the screen?
Yeah. All right. So one more that I see often is that a lot of women expect for their man to fill in multiple roles. So it's like they want their man to be able to, of course, be the leader, the protector, provider, but they want him to be able to fix everything around the house, and they want him to spend a bunch of time with them, and they want him to take them out on a bunch of dates, and they want him to be able to, work on the car, and they want him to be able to cook when she's tired, and they want him to be able to give her massages. And it's like, okay, he can't be all of these things. He can't fit all of these multiple roles. He's one man. And it's like a lot of men, like they're expected to do things that are not even really, they don't really fall underneath the masculine role. Like, for example, they want a man that is going to like be like their therapist, and that's going to be their leader at the same time, which it doesn't work, because a therapist is more likely to just listen to you vent and let you get it out and give you the emotional support. A leader is going to tell you what you can do to solve the problem, what you can do to fix it. They're going to hold you accountable and things like that. So he can't be both. Like, you got to pick, which one do you want? Do you want a man that's just going to listen to you vent and whine and complain, or do you want a man that's going to be like, okay, here's the solution to the problem? You know, so they got to understand that a man is not going to be able to do both masculine and feminine roles all the time. He's one man, and he can't do it all. He can do what he can do. Men are going to need their rest. Men need self care too. They need time to themselves. They need space. They need all of that. And a lot of times they expect the man to just keep going all of the time, like he is several men built into one. And that's just unrealistic. We know that when it happens to us, we don't like it, but we expect that of our man. Like, he goes to work, he comes home, and we give him like multiple jobs to do once he gets home. You know, on his days off, we got a list of things for him to do. He's just one man. He still needs time to himself. He still needs to take care of his mental well-being. He still needs to rest his body as well. And a lot of women, they don't see their man as that. They see their man as like he's just some type of robot or something, where he just constantly in slow mode, and that's just unrealistic. So yeah, that's one thing. It's like they expect him to be both the feminine and masculine all the time, and they expect him to be more than one man. He's just one man. So that is definitely another unrealistic expectation that I see a lot. And then a lot of times, the man just feels like he's not appreciated. He feels like nothing I do is good enough, because the woman is just
Mm.
constantly saying, yeah, I need more, I need more, I need to do this, I need to do that. And he's like, okay, well, when am I going to get some type of appreciation for what I have been doing? And a lot of times that is just simply because the woman is just, she doesn't expect him, she expects him to be more than just one man. And that is a problem. Yeah.
Wow. That's really really beautiful. That's really powerful. So, ladies, you've heard it for yourself. This is, I mean, we've hit our an hour mark. So I know we have some of your comments. So I'm just gonna put them out there quick. I was putting some because yes, money expectations is, I always tell my brothers that don't go borrow a car to go and see a chick with no car. So, and it's it starts from just speaking to the young men, because you kind of feel like you have to overstretch yourself, and you're not able to communicate all of those things. So I'm just gonna. So most of these are just comments. It tells me you guys are really taking it in. You know. Yeah, yeah, great, 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 great. Keep representing. Yeah, so I'm just gonna put out some of these. If there's any question, we'll take it. But if it's just comments, unless you have any comment, so as I'm just because of time, so I'm just gonna put them out. So if there's any one you want to, respond to or just react to, you could just still go ahead and just pick it up from there. Yeah.
Okay, so it says, this one says, does it mean every man deserves such good representation outside, because some men don't deserve it by how a woman is treated? And then that would go back to your discernment and your judgment when it comes to the type of man you choose to be with. So why would
Yeah.
you be with a man that you don't respect and that you feel like doesn't treat you well? That says more about how you feel about yourself than anything else. It doesn't make sense to me that a woman would be in a relationship with a man that she doesn't respect, or that she feels like doesn't.
And you keep complaining about it.
Yeah, yeah. That's what ends up happening, and it's like you can choose to eat. Like, you don't have to force yourself to be in a relationship with someone that isn't treating you well. You can always work it out, and I always suggest, both of you put in the effort to get things right. But honestly, even outside of that, you represent yourself well for you first and foremost. Because how do you want to be represented? Whether you're in a relationship, whether you're single or not, even if you're single, you still don't want to carry yourself like you're looking for a bunch of male attention because you're going to look like a good time, not like a good life. And that is how men put you
Woo!
into these categories. Even if you're single, it doesn't, even if you're, regardless if you're in a relationship or not, you don't want to walk around looking like you're just good for one night. You want to look like, okay, I'm the type of woman that you're going to be able to take home to your mama. You're going to have me for the rest of your life. You're going to be proud of me for the rest of your life. I'm the woman that's going to be raising your children. That's what you're looking at when you
Mm.
see me. You don't want to carry yourself like you're just somebody to have fun with because then you'll get used and then just discarded. And you don't want that. So, regardless of whether a man deserves it or not, you do it for you first and foremost. But if you feel like a man doesn't deserve it, you got to ask yourself, why are you with him?
Wow.
Yeah.
So listen, ladies. I'm gonna say this. We have a master class coming up. We have a master class coming up, and then we also have a course coming up. With Sarah. Here, I'm gonna ask you this. You guys, you my beautiful African sisters, are able to buy hair for $700 just to put on your head, but you will not invest time to sit under a coach like her to be able to transform your life for 4 weeks. That breaks my heart. And I don't believe a lot of you don't have money. A lot of you say, oh, I can't invest in this course, I can't come to this event because I don't have money. But you have hair worth $700 on your head, and it's still not getting you a husband, you know and it's still not getting you a husband. Just listening to you, Miss Sarah, about what you're saying, I believe a lot of, because how you show up for yourself, you are telling this person, I'm going to raise your children. I am the type of a woman you're going to take to your mother's house. Your hair can't speak for you, but your character and how you carry yourself. And I'm not suggesting in any way that you shouldn't look beautiful or anything. I'm just saying that this is very key because I had to share this because of some of these key things that you have said. So we have a course that is gonna be we're gonna do 4 weeks on Saturdays, on weekends, but we also have the masterclass that is coming up at Sierra Resort, on the 12th and the 13th. And after that, because she can cover everything with the masterclass, she's just gonna do a session because we have other speakers. But she's coming with a 4 weeks class. If you don't register, if you don't jump on board, you're gonna miss out. And this is the only time I'm doing this relationship stuff, the beginning of the year, because by the time we get to December, we want to see fruits, because this is very critical for you. So thank you for adding up that. You just made me talk about that and bringing up, because I feel it's very key, for that. So I'm just gonna throw some other comments. Good response to that. I hope you got that response. Great. All right, so that's just like feedback from what you said.
Uh-huh. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. Really and calming dog.
Okay, we got that one.
Good. I'm glad you learned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Yes.
yes.
The
Yeah.
mentality do something different. Absolutely. Absolutely. You think
So,
about what it is that you want. Really think about what it is that you want in your future. What type of lifestyle do you want to have? What type of marriage, type of family, what type of relationship that you want? And then think about what type of man is that is going to fit there. What type of woman would that type of man want? And ask yourself, are you that type of woman? And if not, that will help you know what it is you need to get started with. Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. Change that mentality.
that's awesome. Okay, wow, we got a lot of comments. So I hope I can quickly just go through them. I know we've gone past our time.
How you represent yourself communicates how society will turn and treat you. Absolutely. That is exactly right. you definitely you set the example for how you want to be treated by everyone else.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. Expecting a man to fill in multiple roles, he can't do it all. Absolutely, he cannot do it all. He can't. We're going to have to be patient and make sure that we are appreciating, showing the appreciation for things that he absolutely can do. Because you got to understand that oftentimes the masculine man thinks in terms of levels, and he's not really willing to go to the next level and extend a certain amount of effort in the next level until he feels appreciated in the level that he's on. And if what he's already doing, he's not feeling appreciated, he doesn't feel like you care, he doesn't feel supported, he'll be a fool to just keep doing more and more and more because he's just going to end up just draining himself at the end of the day and not really getting that reciprocity in return. So just making sure that we're showing that appreciation, we're giving that support with what he is doing now, and that will definitely help him want to do more. But even with that, keep in mind that he's only one man. Absolutely.
Awesome. There's a question.
Why don't you have topics that speak about men too? Looking forward to that. Is that for me or is that for you, Coach? Is that for me? Who is that for? Is that
that
question for?
that's for you.
Okay. I'm a femininity coach and I coach women. Actually, I do actually have some YouTube videos where I do speak on things dealing with men and masculinity, but I prefer to speak to women because I am a woman and I can relate to women. So much of the things that I speak about is not just based off of my education. It's not just based off of observations or studying. A lot of it does have to do with experience as well. And I think that when it comes from a woman to a woman, it's better received because I can understand you on a different level. Where it is as a woman, I can't teach a man how to be a man. I can only share with him things from a woman's perspective. But one of the reasons why, and if I can just take it to a different level really quickly, and this might be something we put in the course, but
Yeah.
men having a lack of masculinity does contribute to women being more in their masculine. When men aren't doing what they're supposed to do, women feel like they have to fill in that role sometimes. And a lot of times, a man's lack of masculinity comes from a woman teaching him how to be a man. So I don't want to contribute to that any further. I don't need to teach men how to be men. They need to learn that from other men. So,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah. That's right. For yourself first. That's right. You got it. Your hair and looks won't speak for you, but your character will. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, let me comment on that one real quick because I don't want to lie. Your hair can misrepresent you because if you're walking around with a rainbow color wig on, that might send the wrong message too. You really have to think about what type of man that you want. It depends on what it is that you're wanting, what it is you're seeking in a man, and this is going to be based off of your own style, culture, and things like that. But you do want to make sure that you're not putting on anything that is going to make you look like you're doing just too much for male attention. You know what I mean? Because that can turn off a lot of good men. So definitely, absolutely, your character. Yes, how you carry yourself. Do you have manners? Do you respect people? Do you have class? It starts with you. Absolutely, it starts with you. Mhm. What you think about yourself, what you see when you look into the mirror, how you feel about yourself, what it is you want, and you got to make sure that you're not allowing yourself to be influenced by women that are miserable, by women that are complaining all of the time. Women that complain all the time clearly are not happy. So you don't want to be influenced by those type of women.
True.
In a situation where you appreciate his effort despite it not being good enough for both him and you. So you can still show appreciation. You can simply just say thank you. You can say, I appreciate what you're doing. And then you can still make a request. There's nothing wrong with making a request. However, you want to make sure that you do let him know that you do appreciate the things that he has done in the first place. Because if he does something and you don't say, well, I appreciate it, and you just say, well, why didn't you do this? Or you should have done that. That's just going to make him feel like you're mothering him and that you just don't, you're not appreciative person. And after a while the man's going to give up, he's going to feel discouraged, and he's not going to want to keep doing things for you. you know but you got to ask yourself, why is it not good enough for you, whatever it is? Are you comparing your situation to someone else's situation? Like, why is it not good enough? And if it isn't, that is something that the two of you need to sit down and discuss together, but always show appreciation when he does, you know, put any effort in. The same way you're going to want to be appreciated as well. Like, for example, if he says he's hungry and you go and make him a sandwich and he cusses you out because he wanted a full course meal, you're going to feel unappreciated because it's like, okay, well, at least I did get up and do this much for you. So you do want to make sure that you are showing the appreciation. Even if it is not the full amount of what you want, it always starts with the little things first. Small things matter.
Awesome, awesome. That's great. So I know we have. Okay, so I'm gonna take the last one, guys, because we gotta go now. So we gotta go. I wanted to add on that, but because of time, I'm not gonna put it out there. So let me just take quick ones.
Okay, what are ladies that attract married men? Is it that there is a way they portray themselves that isn't right? Not necessarily. A lot of times, unfortunately, a lot of women get very comfortable when they get married. They let themselves go. They stop doing the things that they did in the beginning that made the man attracted to them in the first place. So a lot of times, married men are just not satisfied in their marriages, which makes other women more tempting because they see in these other women what they're not getting at home. So it's not necessarily the fact that a woman is doing something all the time that's making married men attracted to them. Sometimes these married men are just not happy with their wives because their wives are no longer doing the things that they were doing in the beginning, or they're not really fulfilling their role as a wife at home. A lot of times these men don't have peace with their wives. They're arguing all the time. These men don't feel respected in their relationship. And so sometimes that is definitely going to make a man, it's going to be easier for him to be attracted to other women.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right. So this is the last one. So this is the last one that I wanted just to this is feedback. So this is coming to me. So Achua, I get you. I definitely need to uh, you know, um, just find a way for us to just bring our brothers and have conversation on our end as men. So I take, yeah, I take up this one. So thank you so much, everybody, for your feedback. Before we close, remember we have the course, that Miss Sarah is going to be doing with us for 4 weeks, and then we have a masterclass. You've seen it. We've been advertised. The course we've not actually brought it. It's the first time you're hearing about it. It's gonna come after the masterclass. So that one is gonna be strictly for women, and it's gonna cover some deep, deep stuff. So register for that course, and then the masterclass is two. It's just 2 days. We're gonna have other speakers, so she's not gonna speak everything that she needs to just bring it out because she's got a lot of stuff to download and just bring out. So we have a specific course just for her, on being feminine and all of those issues, the beautiful things that make you just an amazing woman. So that's going to be covered in that space. And then she's going to speak at the masterclass at the same time. So please register, send me a DM, register, and be part of this, and let's just make it beautiful. We owe it to each other to do the best that we can. Miss Sarah, what's your closing words as we come to the end and land this plane?
Ladies, you absolutely can be more in your feminine. A lot of times you feel like you have to operate from a masculine energy and you have to be aggressive and you have to be guarded and you have to be tough and hardcore, and you're only hurting yourself. It is not good for you spiritually, mentally, emotionally, physically, socially when you are operating from a more masculine energy. So as long as this is something that you want for yourself, you got to want it for yourself first and foremost. But when you want it for yourself and you change that mentality, you change your habits, you absolutely can do that. And you will start to see your life change. You'll see the men in your life change. You will see the friendships change. You will be able to see your physical appearance change. You'll feel different. You'll feel more at peace. You'll feel more at ease. You'll feel more confident with yourself. But you have to want it for you first. Okay? Don't allow yourself to be easily strayed by women that are telling you to do something that is only going to make you as miserable as them. Okay? So yeah, you absolutely can do it. You just got to make sure that you want it. Okay? You can get there. Absolutely.
Awesome. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you showing up. So I'll put more details on our page and then I'll send it to you in mails so that you guys can get registering and then just have an amazing one. So thank you so much. This has been amazing. I gotta go back and just rewatch this, because I think it's a lot of lessons, you know, uh, for all of those things. So guys, this is amazing. Go back, watch, take notes, and stretch yourself. So thank you, everybody. Good evening, good night. I know for you it's still the day out there. Good afternoon.
All right.
All right, guys. Thank you. Bless you. Take care.